Hello again, Michael Friedrich here from beautiful North Carolina, and today I have two products for review and a repeat, a return of last week's razor. Today's soap is going to be a product that I've actually had waiting in the wings since last year, June. I believe this was a seasonal offering from Barrister and Mann. I don't know if it's going to come back this year or not, but it is the Rhapsody. Let me show you what it looks like inside the tin. A beautiful kind of a light caramel color that I believe changes over time. Darkens up a little bit the more that is exposed to the air. I think the label is absolutely fantastic. This is just a beautiful, clean, colorful, sharp design. I love what they're doing with the designs for these labels. Very, very well done. The scent on this is, well, it's another typical Barrister and Mann scent. It's a very complex, rich scent, but what you get initially, at least for me, is sort of a pungent, strong smell of pear blossoms. If you know what a Bradford pear blossom smells like, that's where this starts off. It has kind of a sweet, definitely a sweet kind of a fruit blossom scent. So I believe it's pear blossom with apple and cherry blossom as well. There is a orange and orange blossom. There's definitely a strong citrus note in here. And for me, that's where it starts. Now underneath that is a touch of, for me at least, but some of the, I'm going to forget some of the ingredients because it's a laundry list, but there is, I believe there's bay, there's patchouli, there's musk, there's some sandalwood, there's vanillin. This is kind of a, it is slightly pungent. It has a strong, very distinct scent, a beautiful mix of kind of a light citrus undertone with a strong fruit blossom scent to it. And underneath that is kind of a bit of that heavy musky scent remains. So you have sort of the pungent pear blossom along with the musk as kind of a base, and you've got this floral fruit and citrus on top of it. Really a fantastic scent. When I use the aftershave, for me the scent profile changes, but we'll get to that when I get to the matching aftershave. I have some of it pressed into the Captain's Choice loading bowl. That's the remainder from this week. That should be plenty for today. Today's brush is going to be, I believe this is the 30 millimeter. Again, this is what they call their watermelon handle. It is a Yaqi brush, another one of the ones that they sent me for review. This is the Cashmere knot, or the blonde knot. This is dense with a fair amount of backbone, and what I would call, it is slightly stiff, but it is not scritchy or scratchy at all. So it stands up very well if you got a denser beard or you need to dig into a slightly harder soap. Although the tips are quite soft, the brush has got quite a bit of structure to it and been a real pleasure to use all week. The razor, well, it's the second and last week for my dear friend, which I'll have to say goodbye to shortly. It is the LA Shaving Soap Company, the BBS-1, kindly on loan from a very generous person. I really, very deeply grateful for the opportunity to use this. Second week, today's blade is a repeat. It is a Gillette Silver Blue, and that is more kind of by accident. That's what I had in the cabinet. I have used a Voshkod as well as a Repair Platinum Luxe. Both of those blades did very well in that razor as well. All right, let me go ahead and wet my face, and we'll go ahead and start lathering up. Now for the soap, this is a soap where you do need to be a little bit patient while you're loading it and while you're lathering it, because you're going to be rewarded with an excellent lather if you just put a little bit of work into it. So soap obviously is dry. These samples, like when I just press it into the bowl, I just leave the bowl out during the week. I don't bother to cover it up, so it does dry out a little bit during the week, but it only dries out, for a day at a time. So this is a wet, damp-ish brush. I'm just shaking out the water. No need to soak these, obviously it's synthetic. And just start loading. Now what I've been doing for this is loading, but not loading for too long, and I'm adding water on a relatively frequent basis. And it still sounds dry, it still sounds a little airy, and that's fine. You can see what's happening though, already starting to get a fair amount of soap in there, but not nearly enough. I'm going to drip a bit more water in there. As you can see, that water is being absorbed very, very quickly. This soap, I think this is the glaçant base. This is thirsty and can take quite a bit of water and deserves a bit of water. All right, you can see that's starting to dry out again a little bit, so a touch more water. And you can see it's starting to fill up a little bit with a dense, kind of creamy base lather. But since today's the last day, one more. Yeah, and the brush, because of the stiffness of the brush, sort of the density, it really digs into it. But you can see I'm only exerting a bit of pressure and it is splaying quite nicely. So, all right, I think that is going to be enough. And if it isn't, we're just going to reload. I'm going to scoop out some of the lather inside the bowl. You can see already how sort of dense that is. I'm just going to put that on top of the brush. Wet my face again. Dribble a bit of water on the brush and we'll get this lather going. I'm ignoring the water dripping down my arm right now. Just a psychological trick. The scent strength on the soap is strong. Scent strength on the soap when lathered is definitely still there, but I think it mellows out a little bit once you start adding in the water and lathering it up. It also sweetens for me, so that sort of pungent, the heavy pungent pear blossom note, to me evens out once you get it lathered. And some of the other scents begin to come out, some of the sweetness of the vanilla, the other fruit blossoms, a really nice spring scent. At least that's how it's billed. And given the fact that it's 75 degrees here today, even though it's middle of February, well, feels spring-like already. All right, a bit more water. Again, this is a bit of a deceptive soap in the sense that it may look ready, but don't give up adding water too soon. Okay, a little more. I'm just dripping it. No, just working it in gently. You can sort of see what's happening in terms of the thickness right there. I mean, that is a very, very nice lather. Could keep adding a bit of water, but that already feels creamy and smooth on the face and doesn't sound airy. There we go. And you can see how much has been generated on the brush. I'm just going to scoop that off. Just put that on top of the brush. And when we get around to the next pass, that should still be there and should still be nice and sleek. All right. Well, here we go. Almost the last pass with this razor. The first of the last three. You won't see me cry, but I'll be holding the tears in on the inside. First two shaves this week were with the Vashkod blade. And I know this is going to sound like one of those things people say, but this really is true. First lather I made with this soap on Monday, and the first shave on Monday with that new blade, the first couple strokes, I actually stopped for a second just to check. Actually, is there a blade in this? Because there was so little friction, just no pulling and no sound really. Yeah, third shave on a blade for this razor. End of the road for me. Course of the week, I also did a couple practice shaves or different shave approaches, and I do this a lot actually. So for example, with this razor, what I did was 2 days. I only did a 2-pass shave. First day was a 2-pass shave with and across, and then the second day was with and against. And that's just because, you know, some mornings, I'm sure for a lot of us, you just don't have the same amount of time you might normally have, so you have to actually shave a bit more quickly. And if so, it's good to know just how good a shave you can get if you only can work in 2 passes Now, neither of those was as good as a 3-pass shave, obviously, but both of those were still very, very good shaves. If you'd look closely, you could see that it wasn't quite as close as the 3-pass shave. But for the people around me, they would never know. All right, that is with the grain pass. Quick and easy. Light, no pressure. All right, I've just scooped off what's dripped again from the bottom. Let me just wipe off my arm because that is driving me crazy. And you can see how well that's still held together. That's still a nice, sleek looking lather on there. So let's lather up for pass number 2. As you can see, the brush does splay pretty easily, but it has a fair amount of backbone, a really nice mix of sort of structure and solidity, but still able to splay. And the tips, as I said, are nice and soft. Zero razor burn with this with the brush burn. And it is a huge knot, and it holds a lot of lather. So at the end, squeeze out what remains. What I've been doing for when I have done a 3-pass shave is squeeze out whatever remains in the brush and then do a very quick touch up. Just like single stroke, no buffing. All right, this is the across the grain. Yeah, this is one of those benefits that you realize when you take a bit of extra time with the product and you really get to know it. I can't imagine really, if you only had one chance to shave with this, you may get an impression that it is good, but you would not have a chance to try it out under a variety of circumstances and see just how well it performs. Soap, if you haven't used one of these Barrister and Mann, these glycerin based soaps, then I would strongly recommend you do. Some of the scents are not for everybody, I recognize that. But the soap is really just absolutely, for me, is just top notch. Easy to work with. Forgiving in terms of water. Very, very slick. We'll get to post-shave in a minute. Soap like these, they just make shaving just such a pleasure, so easy. Like I say, and I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again because it bears repeating. If you're shaving with a soap that isn't working for you, you should move on to another soap, because there are so many great options out there that you may be missing out on without realizing just how much better your shaves are going to be because you're getting a much better lather. Don't struggle. Move on. All right, there you go. I'm going to pull this lather from the bottom of the brush and just scoop that back onto the top. Let's go ahead and pass number 3 against the grain. Yeah, scent is just, to me, is better lather than out of the container. Just a bit more even. That pungent note from the pear disappears a little bit. This ends up being a little bit sweeter, and the pungent note in the musk drops to the back. Oh, just beautiful, beautiful texture on the soap. Slick. You don't need a big, thick layer. You need a slick layer. All right. Rinse my hands, and now this is it. The ultimate pass with the Los Angeles Shaving Soap Company, the BBS-1. This is it, the last pass with this razor. I might have lied a little bit. There may be a little half pass at the end. All right, this is the against the grain pass. Really nice. Soap is just nice and slick, very protective layer. Really helps make this razor feel safe on the face. No hesitation, no catching, none of that. Yeah, and this is a razor where the sound of the razor is deceptive. Sounds like there's a lot left and there just really isn't. Yeah, for the person who commented on YouTube about how smooth those strokes or the passes look, that is simply a combination of very good slick lather and also no pressure. You're just letting the razor, I mean, honestly, just sort of glide over the skin. You're not scrubbing or pressing in. All right, because this is honestly the last shave, my last chance to use it, I'm going to squeeze out the remainder from this brush. You can see how much is still in there. Beautiful, shiny leather. Let's just do a quick touch-up pass. No buffing, just very light cleanup strokes. All right, dry off my hands. All right, this is it. This really is the last pass. Okay, here we go. No tears. Nice and light, no pressure. Done. Emphatically done. That's exactly time to stop. It's just, the temptation is just, the risk is to keep going. But there's really no need. Really, really no need. Oh my God, what a fantastic shave again. All right, the soap, when rinsed, is still leaving behind a very slick layer. It is not very hard to rinse off, but also not easy. All right, let me towel off a little bit. There we go. So post shave on the soap. Wow, okay, see, my God, beautiful, beautiful shave again. Really close, clean, very comfortable, easy, just really easy. And the post shave, there's a nice thin slick layer behind. No tightness in my skin, no real heat. I mean, that's kind of what you expect. I mean, you know, for these top tier soaps, that's what you're looking for. And again, this is a very rich soap. This is a tallow and lanolin based soap, which I think I forgot to mention at the beginning. It is tallow and lanolin, so a very rich, fatty soap, and you can really feel it in the post shave. Just beautiful, slick, wonderful lather. All right, let's end that shave with the matching Rhapsody aftershave. This is another alcohol and witch hazel based. This is just very similar to the other ones. It's got calendula in there. What else? Witch hazel, alcohol, chamomile extract, calendula extract, and a bit of fragrance. Oh, okay, just a little bit. What I've been doing is applying a bit and then applying a second pass. Tiny touch of sting from the alcohol, but it is literally just instant or momentary. This dries down and really dries down. So what you feel in your face is you do not feel like a slick moisturizing. This is straight up a aftershave splash. So please don't expect this to be like a highly moisturizing. This is really a kind of an astringent toning. Oh, wow. So the scent on the aftershave to me does not have the same kind of musky, strong pear blossom fragrance. To me, this smells a lot more of the other blossoms, like kind of a sweet apple and cherry and orange and lemon, with a little bit of wood or musk underneath it. It is not an eau de cologne. It is not meant to last a long time, but the scent actually does persist for quite a while. So, you know, a couple hours later at work, like past noon or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I could still smell this on my hands a little bit, which is really pretty nice. All right, well, there you have it. Another fantastic end of the week shave. Whew. All right, well, let's go through these products again. Let's do the razor first, because you've already seen this from last week's shave. LA Shaving Soap Company. This is the BBS-1 lent to me very kindly. Beautiful knurling on the handle. I think the head design is spot on. It's thin. It's got a great degree of control. It's very easy to maneuver. The blade edge looks quite open and exposed, but in fact, edge control is really good. You do feel the blade on your skin, but it does not feel at all out of control or unsafe or chattery or like it's catching or hitching. Beautiful, beautiful design on that razor, and I am going to miss it, but I'm going to send it back with alacrity because I know the person who's probably wondering who lent it out probably wants it to come home. So that's the razor. All right, product number 2. Another amazing soap from Barrister and Mann. I know that these scents are not for everybody. I do think this smells fantastic. Tallow and lanolin based soap in the Glissant soap base, I believe. There's so many soap bases, it's hard to keep them straight, honestly. But this is just packed full of all kinds of other sort of richy fats and good ingredients. I think it has, what else is in here? Soap protein, coconut milk. Well, you know what? You go on the website, you go check it out. I don't know if and when this makes a return, but I was happy to jump on this. The soap works exceedingly well for me. The lather is rich and creamy and protective and very, very slick with, I think, excellent post-shave qualities. A real pleasure to use. Aftershave is the matching aftershave splash, alcohol and witch hazel combination with the, what would I say again? Is the chamomile and calendula. These do work very well for me, but again, these are kind of toning. So right now, my skin feels a little bit dry and a little bit tight because that's kind of the impact of the splash. If you need to use a moisturizer after the fact, then go ahead and do so. And then finally, is the Yaqi synthetic. This is the Cashmere, I believe a 30 millimeter knot set in what they call their watermelon, which is kind of a light red right lead handle. Easy to hold, not heavy. I think the knot is very well done. It's got a beautiful mixture there of sort of springy stiffness with a little bit of what feels like scrub, but no squishiness. Very soft tips, splays open, works well with hard soaps, and I think would work very well if you have like a dense, heavy beard growth and you really want to work it in there. I think that knot would be a great choice for you. All right, I think that's it. I think we're done for today. Wow, man, that was an amazing shave. I'm gonna miss that razor, but you know what? There's plenty of other fish in the ocean, just not one of those. Oh well. Well, with that, thank you again so much for watching. I really appreciate the time you're taking to watch these. Of course, as always, please feel free to leave a comment or question against this video or any previous video. Thank you again so much for watching and taking the time. And until next time, goodbye.